A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
One of the newest racetracks in real life and in the sim here in iRacing is finally on Turn 200 and is finally home with the Venom Truck Series. The West Coast swing to open up season number 9 continues as we are here at Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway for the Punisher Graphics 200. It is round number 3 of the 9th season of the Venom Truck Series. It's right here on Turn 200 as always. We'll welcome in Mr. Matt Williamson. My name is Tommy Cook. Partner, we're here in Cali after an interesting week last week in Las Vegas. Going to be a very interesting race tonight, no doubt.
Certainly is. It's a brand new track to the Venom Truck Series, brand new track to Turn 200, and a relatively new track to the service overall as well. So, and on top of that, really wasn't meant for NASCAR trucks to be racing at it, if we're being honest. So, all of that combines for what could be a very, very chaotic and maybe interesting night.
Very interesting start to the season as well. All the drivers that did bad at Daytona did good at Las Vegas, and it gives us a points tally that looks pretty dead even at this point, 2 races into the season.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the cutoff line, I mean, everybody that is in the top 16 is literally right there. Josh Freed and Matt Schlosser tied for first atop the points. That does not happen very often where we have a tie for first. So after 2 rounds, we got plenty of time to go. Chad Stern sits there in third. Luke Peterson, Kyle Zittel in the top 5. Jeremy McKinnon, Zach Lockett, and Brody Gunter are your top 8. Jan Van Leer also tied with Brody Gunter, by the way. Ryan Dye sits there in 10th, although he is tied with Brantley Gainey in points. Andy Poliski, Brian Mitchell, Tyler Logan, Josh Matichek. I mean, Josh Matichek sitting there in 15th is only 3 points behind the cutoff line. So, I mean, it's going to be a great stretch until we get to the playoffs here.
The top 25 drivers in the points are all within 1 race of each other headed into round number 3 tonight. Some quick track facts. Although it is called Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway, Kevin Harvick actually does not own this track. It is in Bakersfield, California, where Kevin Harvick lays his head every night. It is a half-mile oval, 4 turns, of course, some funky-looking straight walls, not a real pit lane. 14 degrees of banking in the turns. It's actually variable with 12 to 14 degrees of banking. And tonight, it's going to have 200 laps for the Venom Truck Series, who have a checkered past and short track racing. So, with that, we'll look towards Brody Gunter, who will take his 5th career Venom Truck Series pole. He will lead the field to green with William McKellar on the outside pole. McKellar, one of 5 drivers to post their best career finish in Venom Truck Series competition last week at Las Vegas. He'll start in the outside pole with Hayden Palumbo, who was robbed of victory last week. He'll start in 3rd, trying to rectify that. Next to Andy Poliski, one of the short track aces of the series. Matt Schlosser and Chad Stearns, 2 of our Swiss Army men, former teammates on row number 3. Luke Peterson, last week's first-time winner, starts in P7, next to John Kay, who has not had a very good start to his season. He'll look to rectify that starting from 8th. Jan Van Leer may be the man to watch here tonight if we have a caution fest. He'll start at 9th next to Rodney Matney in 10th. Kyle Zittel, most recent short track winner, in 11th. Garrett Rainey in 12th. Steve Roman, Kevin Sargent on row number 7. Austin Holyfield, Josh Jackson, Ryan Dye. Zach Lockett coming off a best career finish starting in P18. Jordan Journeau likewise in P19. And Josh Freed, runner-up last week, P20 on the starting grid here tonight. It is Paul Sargent and Tyler Bergert on row number 11, Brantley Gainey and Gary Clark on row 12, Brian Mitchell and Joshua Matichek way back there in 26th. And on the back row on the inside, it's your race sponsor, Eric Breeding, and Pascal Simard, 28th. EOLs for Josh Jackson and Gary Clark due to infractions last week at Las Vegas. And they will head to the back of the field. And Matt Williamson will have some of our track facts and race conditions for you.
Certainly, we're going to look at the weather conditions here real quick. 98 degrees is the track temperature. It's a clear day, so the sun could increase that track temperature quite a bit as we roll along here. We'll have to keep an eye on it for you throughout the night. They get 3 extra sets of tires. Those are going to be very important here tonight, at least seemingly. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. No fast repairs offered here. 200 laps around Kern County. And we do have the short track package rules in play here for season number 9. A 20X is a drive-through penalty. A 24X is a disqualification. Your pit window is over 100 laps, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about fuel here at all tonight, probably. Here's your season 8 short track facts as we're getting ready to go here. We averaged 16 cautions per short track race last season. 3 short track races went into overtime. And your short track winners, Jan Van Leer won 2 of them. Brody Gunter, John Kay, Kyle Zittel all got 1 last season.
16 cautions per race last season on the short tracks. We'll look to go under that tonight as we're underway at Kern County. Palumbo washing up the track there big time. Hangs on to 3rd. Gunter with the lead. They're side by side further back. Schlosser and Poliski inside the top 5. Schlosser will pull ahead as Gunter leads the opening lap. Multiple drivers still having to sort it out here. Last week's big winner, Luke Peterson. It was a popular win. He's looking to continue the momentum and march ahead early here. Underneath Andy Poliski. Another driver who's had a fairly rough start to the season, although he did eke out a top 10 at Daytona. Last week did not go according to plan for Andy in the 32 truck. He hangs on to the spot for now. Still plenty of battling here early in the going in the top 10.
Yeah, John K, Chad Stearns side by side. Stearns sticking it to the white line on the bottom. John K up here in the middle of the racetrack. Quite a bit more banking there where John K runs. It's quite a bit flatter down there where the 05 is. We'll show you that from the driver's point of view here throughout the night. And then, of course, Jan Van Leer, the two-time short track winner last season, sits right there behind him. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on him tonight.
Challenge for third, and Matt Schlosser will take the position away from the 939 Motorsports driver, the rookie contender, William McKellar, back to fourth after starting on the outside pole. So Schlosser on the move early. Here is Chad Stearns. Again, like you mentioned, 12 degrees of banking down on the bottom, 14 degrees up top.
I promise
There's a
you
lot
it
of,
seems like a lot bigger difference when you're on the racetrack.
There's a lot of a dead zone up there, especially in turns 3 and 4. This track is wide, but you cannot use all of it. There is no doubt about that. You really want to stay inside those painted white lines, or dotted lines, if you will, as much as possible. Leaning green for the first 7 laps. Lap 8 is up on the board. Gunter has led them all. He's off to a pretty sizable lead, 3/4 of a second over Hayden Palumbo. You and I were both turning some practice laps, and this truck does not really settle down at all through the run. In fact, I would argue it gets worse when it comes to rear grip. So these drivers are about to have their hands full if they don't have them full already.
Yeah, it's a tough balance. You want to try... Oh, man, as Kay and Stearns, I think, made a little bit of contact there as Jan Van Leer starting to poke his nose into the picture here. It's also allowing Rodney Matney to come into the fray here.
So stacking up behind our reigning series champion, who has a best finish this season so far of 25th. It has not been a good start to the season for the 2-car. But John Kay fended off Chad Stearns, at least momentarily, for the 7th position.
And this is the hottest battle on track and has been for almost 10 laps.
Yeah, Gunter now leading Palumbo by over a second as Stearns nearly making contact there with Kay as John moved down the track just a bit. Jan Van Leer, Rodney Matney itching to go, but they don't really have anywhere they can go.
Andy Poliski looking to get to 4th here past McKellar as well. He's sitting here on the bottom. And your big winner from last week, first time Venom Truck Series winner, Luke Peterson is sitting there behind those two. Ready to pounce when he can. He's going to get a nose underneath of McKellar here as well, as Poliski is nearly clear.
Poliski will get clear. We'll see if Peterson can do it, as now we've got a problem. Jordan Journeau has gone for a spin, and that is our first caution of the evening here on lap number 13. And Journeau was, I think, battling for 15th with Austin Holyfield at the time of the caution there. But honestly, no harm, no foul. There are no safer barriers around this track, and the inside wall, for the most part, is just a concrete barrier, a temporary barrier, rather. So you could tear up your truck here pretty easily, but luckily that's not what happened to our friend from up north in Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be one of the big stories throughout tonight, is if you lose the truck or you have an incident with somebody, it's going to be very easy to just get yourself taken right out of this race because of the type of barriers that we have around the racetrack here. And this is Journeau coming off of turn number 2. And you're going to see him try and put that throttle down. This is what Tommy talked about just a little bit ago. As the run goes on, it really doesn't get any better. Rear grip, especially trying to get off the corners, very, very tough. And Journeau does get into the inside wall a bit there. And even though that looks like a pretty light contact, Journeau might have some issues with that one.
Yeah, this setup does run pretty high in the gear department. There is a chance that he might overheat if he doesn't get all that damage fixed. Hopefully that is not the case. Speaking of our friends from Ontario, hello to Jeremy McKinnon, who is not in Ontario right now. He sounds like he's in Oklahoma. So Hopefully everything is safe out on the roads there for you, partner. Thanks for checking in. Hello to Rob Williams. Hello to Cole Maxwell as well, not in the field here tonight. We'll look forward to seeing you back here next week at Auto Club. Hello to Hunter Leach and Ty Coleman as well. And, of course, hello to Bailey Marie. Cheering on Joshua, who picked up, I think he picked up 9 spots. Make it 10 now since William McKellar just came down pit road. So Joshua's off to quite the hot start here. Just 17 laps in to our race today. But Brody Gunter has led them all thus far, but this brings Hayden Palumbo now into the mix on the outside pole. What a Logan Lester cheering on Ryan Dye. Dye going to restart from the 13th position as it's Gunter and Palumbo, Schlosser, Poliski, Peterson, K. Your front 6. We're back underway here on lap 18. Oh, JVL nearly getting into the quarter panel of John Kay there. Is Kay going to move it from the high side down to the low side and try and pick off Andy Poliski here as Peterson is now up to 4th.
Kay really hasn't gotten to run the bottom at all because he was battling so hard there with Chad Stearns. Poliski and Kay side by side.
Zach Lockett running in 16th just dropped like a rock through the field, but he is back up and going. And I mentioned it offhandedly, but it's worth pointing out that William McKellar pit from 6th under this caution. He was the only other driver other than Jordan Jorneau to come down pit road. So an early move here for the 3.
Oftentimes last season, when we talked about tire strategy, it was pretty common for drivers to stay out on old tires, and it ended up generally working out for them. Here at this racetrack, quite a bit more speed that you carry, although... Oh, boy, we got to spin
Ryan
back.
Dye.
That is Ryan Dye. He's not on the racetrack right now, so I'm not sure we're going to get a caution from it. And indeed,
Nope.
we won't.
He made some contact there with the inside wall. He was running in the 14th position at the time of the spin, but he will go all the way to 28th. Gunter with a half a second lead over Palumbo.
Well, back just outside the top 10. Kyle Zittel, Steve Roman, Austin Holyfield battling here.
Holyfield was having a good run last week and got absolutely demolished in one of our cautions. But there he is, short track racer IRL, Joshua Monacek, continuing the drive forward. Was surprised to see him starting way down in 26th. He's driven up to 14th, and he's challenging for P13.
And a point about tires I wanted to make before the Ryan Dye incident is you carry a bit more speed. There's quite a bit more banking. It's very easy to slide the tires sideways, laterally here. I think tires are going to be more of an issue here than they were at most of our short tracks last season.
The other part of the equation with that was not just the tires, but also we had so many caution laps that these drivers, one in particular, didn't even have to pit for fuel, as we've got a challenge amongst teammates for 4th. John Kay takes it away from Luke Peterson, and that'll open the door right up for Andy Poliski.
Poliski not able to get clear. Peterson trying to fight back. Clear now he is, but not really an opportunity to get down as Jan Van Leer fills the hole there.
Peterson trapped on the top side. There's Paul Ellison in the chat. Hello. It's been pretty good so far. Working lap 28. Good battling inside the top 5 here. Peterson and Poliski as we've got one around. And it's Kyle Zittel. Zittel inside the top 15 was just in that battle we were showing for 12th. And that will bring out caution number 2 here on lap 28.
I don't think he took a lot of damage there either, so a couple of drivers getting lucky early on here.
Just a smidge of damage maybe right on the point of the right rear quarter panel there. And that should be okay at a track like Kern County. But we'll see what puts the 53 in this position to begin with.
Kyle Zittel working the top side here, battling with Josh Matacek. I think he just carried he carried too much speed down into turn 1. He was trying to get clear of Josh, carry a lot of momentum around the outside to try and rocket around, get a great exit off of 2. But slid the rears on entry. Made some contact with Gainey there as well.
Yeah, that was kind of a hard shot there for the 22.
Yeah. I luckily for the 22, it was to the rear of the truck, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. On board with Kyle, you see him. Truck starts to go around in the back, and there's not much you can do about it at that point. And Kyle actually didn't make any contact with the wall. So, all things considered, he's looking pretty good for what that could have been.
Drivers down pit road under this caution. Of course, Kyle Zittel. Of course, Ryan Dye as well. Also, Gary Clark. Remember, had an EOL penalty, had to start at the tail of the field. So, nothing major being shook up here other than 2 drivers that were near the top 10 at the time of solo spins being at the tail end of the field now. We'll restart it here with lap 33 going up on the board. And still marveling at Brody Gunter's comeback from last week. Was involved in, I want to say, 3 of the 4 first cautions of the race. And I thought he was done, but of course he got on the podium somehow, some way. Would like a less eventful run to a podium here tonight, and he's led every lap thus far. He's well on his way. Gunter and Palumbo. Hayden looking a bit uneasy there into turn number 1, but he fends off Schlosser and John Kay for second. Schlosser tied for the points lead coming into tonight, facing off against the reigning series champion who could not have had a worse start to the season up to this point. Looking to change that here, battling for a spot on the podium.
Okay, back to work on the top side here. He's battled on the top quite a bit, especially late in the race. That might pay off because he's going to have a lot of experience in these tight confines trying to make moves work. Oh, trouble behind. That's Rodney Matney.
Oh, boy, he hit the inside wall hard.
Yes,
running
he
in
did.
P10. And he smacks the inside wall down the back straightaway. Caution number 3. And I'm not too sure that wasn't another solo spin. It just tells you what these drivers are finding inside the cockpit of this truck. These trucks are loose.
See, the right side of the front of the 83 looks a little tweaked. Take a look.
I don't see a meatball flag, so that's the good news. But a lot of work to do, and this is how it gets going.
Matney trying to work to the underneath side of Garrett Rainey. Rainey is clear. He's going to turn down. Try and get himself some good drive off. Matney working right down there off the white line, trying to get the rubber to cooperate, get some forward drive, and just doesn't get it. What he tried to do there is to keep himself from overcorrecting into the outside wall, which he successfully did, but unfortunately he overcorrected and wound up on the inside wall. We'll take a look inside the truck as well to see the wheel inputs here in a moment. Watch him work the wheel as soon as he starts to get loose here. Yeah, he tried to turn it to the right when he started to feel himself go around, but he's like, oh no, I don't want to go to the outside wall because that's where everybody else is, and I will absolutely get creamed. So he tries to keep it straight, but just nearly impossible here. Especially with the banking, it's really difficult to make those saves with some banking on the front and the back stretches. It just makes it an awkward save.
So we talked about this being a fairly new racetrack. I mean, when you take into consideration racetracks, this is a baby. I mean, it was opened in 2011. The dirt track next door opened in 2013. And yes, there is a dirt track here. It's not just, they didn't pull the Bristol and cover this in dirt every now and then. There is a separate dirt track at this facility. It'll host the Kubota High Limit Sprint Car Series a little bit later on in a couple months or so. But here on the pavement, so far it's being dominated by Brody Gunter. Leads the field back to the green. He's led every lap thus far. Palumbo with his best restart yet. But still may not be enough to fend off his teammate John Kay. Kay looking to the inside. Palumbo going to be able to shut the door. There's a little bit of contact further back between Garrett Rainey and Joshua Monacek. Looks like that is settled, and Rainey inside the top 10. Up to P9.
Lots of side-by-side here. Luke Peterson, Andy Poliski.
Spinning! Trouble in turn number 1. Quite a few trucks around. William McKellar, Jordan Journeau, a couple other drivers pile in there. I don't think that was as bad as it could have been, but it does put us under the caution here for the 4th time.
So we had a couple of decent-sized runs there, and all of a sudden we are stringing them together.
That's cautions breeding cautions. It's classic short track racing, and they're starting to pick up in intensity a little bit here as well.
Yeah, let's see where this starts. Jordan's here in the 84. He definitely goes around here at some point. See if it starts anywhere else. Oh, and I think Jordan gets into... He's going to get into the back of Paul Sargent. I think he slammed on the brakes to keep himself from doing so. William McKellar, he spins himself, trying to avoid incident here as well. Oh, I think Ryan Dye is going to pile into Jordan here, and it's not too bad. But definitely some contact there. Tommy, you said it. I mean, we expected, if we had quite a few cautions early, for some trucks to probably be taken out just because of the way the barriers are here. Although there is a lot of room in the turns, which is good. But, I mean, everybody's still standing at this point.
Yeah, at the entry of turn 1 and the exit of turn 4, there are some not very conforming walls. They are wider at points, and then they flatten out. So they're at very dangerous angles if we're racing in real life. But, you know, I'd rather hit one in a virtual car. But it's going to do a lot of damage if somebody finds their way into one of those at a decent clip. So only the involved drivers down pit road here, and Jordan Journeau will take the blame for the caution. That will give him a pass-through penalty when we come back to the green, since that is his second incident of the evening here. And that's a shame for Journeau, coming off his best career finish last week at Las Vegas. But sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles here in the Venom Truck Series. Still have plenty of racing to go. 200 laps here tonight. We're coming to lap 47 on this restart. And Gunter leading a lot of laps. I'm sure Hayden Palumbo wants to see what he's got here for even a medium-sized run. So he's had a couple of good restarts back-to-back. And this one is going to be good as well. It'll be good enough to challenge Brody Gunter for the lead. He's going to try and send it off here on the outside, but Gunter, awfully good start here. As the Schlosser and Kay, as they have been for the last 3 restarts, side by side, duking it down for third. Poliski's had his hands full here, not just with Jan Van Leer, but also with his truck on these last couple of restarts. And that 32 truck is looking sketchy right now. as he makes a little bit of contact there with Jan Van Leer down the backstretch. Jan trying to pull ahead and take the 6th position. I think he's got it.
Josh Bonacek continues to move forward as well. He's inside the top 10 now, up 17 positions from where he started.
Chad Stearns having a go in the Season 5 Series champion. Stearns has been quietly very good here this season. 3rd in the points coming into tonight. Love to break a couple season-long winless streak because he's nearly into the left rear there.
I mean, the thing for Chad is he's always fast. It's just a matter of how many races he's going to show up to, and he has been to both so far. So that has bode well for the 05.
Sending it a bit deeper there into turn 1. Pulls nose-to-nose with Poliski. Josh Matacek, no doubt, may be the fastest man on the track. He is slicing and dicing, and he is looking rather impatient here behind Stearns and Poliski as they try and settle it amongst themselves for 7th.
Yeah, I mean, when they're too wide in front of you, there is literally nowhere to go here. There's nowhere to force a hand. You just got to hope that one of them gets clear and you can follow through.
And it might be Stearns getting the job done here on the bottom. Ahead of them, Jan Van Leer is pulling up on Luke Peterson, and that'll be the battle for 5th. Jan hasn't quite had the disastrous start to the season that some of the championship favorites has, but he's certainly not had the one that he's wanted, that's for sure. We've hardly called his name out at all. But classic JVL short track run to kick things off tonight, running the Leo Smith truck. Qantas Air could not provide transportation to Leo Smith tonight, so he is riding the pine in Australia.
Schlosser got super loose there off of 2.
As John Kay going to work here on Matt Schlosser. Jan side by side with Peterson behind. Poliski and Stearns still side by side. Jan is going to slide up and take the spot away from Preach.
Gonna have to show a lot of patience here tonight.
Matacek has tried high, he's tried low, and he just about tried the bumper there to try and get the 05 rooted up off the bottom. Poliski holding his own, though. That truck has settled down.
I'm afraid if you employ the bumper, you are probably sending the person in front of you. Oh, no! Somebody hard into the wall. That was Josh Freed.
Oh, that is one of your points leaders all the way at the tail of this field. Caution's out now. Pascal Simard is spun out of turn number 4. Field scatters. It looks like just a one-truck incident as Josh Freed has a meatball flag, and that has some points implications here in round number 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's a points leader right there, and he absolutely creamed the inside wall.
Simard was just inside the top 20 at the time of the accident. He's been having some connection issues, but I don't think that was a connection issue. I think maybe if you're Kevin Sargent, that was a connection issue because he connected with the 09 truck.
Let's take a look at Freed. Freed down here through turns 1 and 2. Trying to get in below Kyle Zittel. Zittel covers it off, so Freed's going to back down and then try and get the power down, and he starts to get loose on his own, as we have seen from so many folks here tonight, and he is just not going to get this thing slowed down before he hits the inside wall very, very hard. And just after that happened, Pascal Simard, he actually went up the racetrack into Sargent. And everybody trying to get out of the way. Oh, McKellar does not. McKellar hits the 76 pretty darn hard there. So McKellar's been caught up in a couple of incidents here tonight. His truck's a little worse for wear as well.
Top 16 drivers have stayed out. Everybody else came down pit road. Well, insult to injury for Josh Freed. He actually made contact with Paul Sargent trying to get into his pit box. There's a point where if you're not familiar with iRacing, that your truck becomes for all intents and purposes, invisible. It's you can't get hit. But it's hard to tell that at a track like this where you don't really know where you are or where your pit boxes actually start. There's no defined pit boxes here, so I'm sure Josh just thought that the 49 truck was invisible. He was not. He piled into the back of him. So, well, some split strategy here. The top 16 out on older tires. John Kay, Luke Peterson, Andy Poliski, Garrett Rainey, Brantley Gainey, and Kevin Sargent. The first 6 on fresh tires. Here, coming to lap 62. So that puts Chad Stearns into the top 5. The rest of the top 4 undisturbed as JVL nearly into the back of Palumbo. Now trying to cook a book here on the top side. Squeezes into a hole there on the bottom and makes contact with Schlosser. Now the top side opens up for Matichek, trying to move into the top 5 for the first time tonight after starting deep in the pack. Rob Williams wants to know if there's ice on the track. Not in Bakersfield, California, I don't think.
Wow, look at that. Matichek, no time wasted, goes right around the 05. He is cooking right now.
Problems for Rodney Matney, but I think he's still going to keep going. He just loses multiple positions. John Kay and the fresh tires already back inside the top 15. We got one spinning in the back, and I believe it's Eric Breeding. Oh, multiple around.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy, there's 4. Samar and McKellar, Josh Freed, Kevin Sargent. That one started with Breeding getting turned around, and multiple other drivers, I think, got spun around and tagged. That was a rough one. We're back under the caution here for the 6th time. This will bring some of the other lead lap drivers down the pit road.
Here's the incident. Breeding out in front of Poliski and Rainey, and they're going to go 3 wide into turn number 1. That just does not work. That was tough. I mean, Breeding doesn't get a great run off of 4. Rainey and Poliski have good runs off of 4, and they're wanting to make some ground up. And I think maybe Breeding slowed down a little bit quicker than Rainey expected as well. Man. Pretty good shots there for Jackson, Sargent, Breeding. Josh Freed kind of piled in there at the end. Pascal Samard hit the wall as well, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, that was the biggest one of the night, for sure.
No meatballs out of that one. Obviously, Josh Freed had gotten his cleared up since he was back out onto the track, but quite a bit of damage, I would imagine, to Josh Jackson in particular, as he took a pretty hard shot there after getting clipped. Garrett Rainey and Andy Poliski both acknowledged over the radio in a conversation that they never got a call that they were 3 wide. Eric Breeding did not chime in on that. What just happened here?
I think Tyler Berger may have just spun trying to get off the pit road, maybe? I'm not sure.
Well, bad time to mention that we got Lisa Kelly in the chat cheering on Tyler Berger, but we're coming back to green here. Brody Gunter's still in control. Multiple drivers, including Hayden Palumbo, who was in 2nd, came down pit road under this caution. Matichek up to 3rd. Now Steve Roman into the top 5 for the first time. And Jordan Journeau just had a problem. I think he's going to tow back to the pits. Schlosser not letting Gunter get away here. It's about as close as we've seen anybody keep it to the leader tonight.
And Tommy, look who snuck into the top 10 here and making up some positions. Ryan Dye came down pit road on lap 44, and he has made up quite a few.
All in the milk. Don't look now, but John Kay on about 40 lap fresher tires, maybe even 50 lap fresher tires. I can't remember when he came in. Either way, him and Luke Peterson carving up the top 5 right now.
Yeah, he came in on lap 58.
So almost 60 laps then. So John Kay trying to find some ground underneath the 05 of Chad Stearns. Peterson falls in line behind Steve Roman. Ryan Dye also slightly fresher tires as well, but not 60 laps.
Yeah, Dye, I think, is at about a 40 lap advantage here.
So Matichek, Schlosser, and Gunter are about to have their work cut out for him as John Kay really cuts it close there.
A lot of drivers getting loose off of that one. Kyle Zittel a little bit further back started to get loose, and Ryan Dye dove down the racetrack because he thought he was going to get hit. Oh, boy, look at this. They are stacked up. Garrett Rainey, Hayden Palumbo stuck behind Dye and Zittel here. Nowhere to go.
And this is Palumbo on the freshest tires, along with everybody else that came down pit road under this caution. Should be Jan Van Leer, Josh Jackson, Brian Mitchell, Zach Lockett.
Boy, we are really getting stacked up here further back. I mean, this is crazy right now.
Yeah, Garrett Rainey with the Hornets' nest behind. Palumbo charging up. Sandwich between his teammates. And no, Rainey loose on his own. Tagged by Palumbo, who had nowhere to go. And the 13 goes for a spin. And that is caution once again here on the speedway. I mean, he got incredibly loose there on corner exit. And Palumbo did not really have anywhere to go. And he's on much fresher tires. It's caution number 7, and that will bring the race leader down pit road for the first time tonight. Gunter is not going to be the man at the front of this field, for now at least.
Take a look at the incident. He said it. Rainey gets around on his own. Palumbo with nowhere to go gets into him. We'll go for a wide shot here. Full speed. And Rainey's trying to go turn down the racetrack from the middle down to the bottom to get a lot of speed off the corner, and the rear end, especially when you try and cross lanes like that, gets super light. You almost have to steer it towards the wall a little bit when you're coming to kind of that late apex there, where you're just finishing off that turn headed down the back straightaway.
Well, in the grand scheme of things, no harm, no foul. Only a little bit of damage. Everybody did a nice job avoiding, so it doesn't compound the issue. Rainey will have an EOL here. The control of this field tonight for the first time belongs to somebody not named Brody Gunter. It is John Kay and his buddy Luke Peterson. Somewhere after the credits rolled in the movie that was Las Vegas last week, John Kay gets some credit, I think, for being an executive producer after he wrecked out of the race. He was helping Luke Peterson, giving him some advice. Peterson said that helped him along quite nicely to victory. So now he'll get to put it to the test. I'm sure John Kay is not giving any advice in this situation. What I'd be worried about if I were those two is Hayden Palumbo, who has about 15 lap fresher tires behind them. It's all Alabama gang up front. The front 4 spots. The Milkman in P5, Jan Van Leer to his outside.
Ooh, man, Jan Van Leer all over Kyle Zittel.
Good start for K. Better start for Palumbo. Up to second already. Lots of shuffling here. Brian Mitchell into the top 10 for the first time tonight, side by side with Rodney Matney, as there's a big stack up. Lots of contact from Zittel back to Jan, back to Ryan Dye.
Whoa. Zittel dives it down to the bottom. Jan Van Leer going to get to the top side here. The top seems to be really fast right now. Lots of moves being made up there.
Brody Gunter in the middle of 3 wide further back in the pack.
Whoa, and Gainey is going to get shuffled out to the top side. He's going to lose a bunch of positions.
Zach Lockett, Ryan Dye, side by side inside the top 10. Lockett trying to take this position away from Dye. Oh, and Kyle Zittel is loose and spinning, and that is going to bring out the caution. Once again, Zittel up in P6. Luckily, he spun up on the top side of that track in no man's land where nobody reasonably would be. So he doesn't get hit, but that is a caution on the 53.
That was a long, broad slide for Zittel, and it's going to bring him down pit road.
I mean, you talk about the top side rolling very nicely. It rolls very nicely until it doesn't.
I mean, it's very easy to go in there with too much speed because with that banking, you just feel like you can really throw it in there, but that's not necessarily the case. It's very easy to get in there with too much speed, and the rear is going to go around. And Zittel was battling with Poliski there. You got to believe that Zittel was trying to carry a bunch of speed, and fortunately didn't hit anybody, didn't hit any walls. Just hurt the tires a little bit. That's all right. We got new ones down on pit road.
And Zittel under this caution was the only driver to bring it down pit road. Full cheering on Brian Mitchell here. Mitchell going to restart in P6. How about it? And Mitchell has made all 3 starts here this season, but had made 5 starts in his Venom Truck Series career before tonight. But last week at Las Vegas was his career best finish. It was 12th place after finishing 13th at Daytona. If the pattern continues tonight, I guess he would finish 11th, but I mean, he's run better than that. So we'll see if the 78 can bring it home inside the top 10 for the first time. John Can leading, Hayden Palumbo right back to where he has been for most of this race in P2. Peterson trying to take it away inside, but Hayden will hang on and not leave much room to operate there for Peterson.
Boy, they are getting stacked up further back. Oh, no! Gary!
And what happened there? Caution is out.
And I don't know where it started. They were all stacked up big time, but it ended up maybe not being as bad as it could have been, but I thought Gary Clark was going to be completely sideways in front of the entire field.
Yeah, that's been the story of the night so far. That was not as bad as it could have been. Schlosser going for a spin off of Clark, trying to save it.
We'll go to the wide shot here, see if we can decipher what's going on. I mean, I got stacked up well in front of Clark and Gainey, who's underneath of the 8. On the bottom, Lockett has some trouble getting into the corner. Gunter and Matichek and Gainey all kind of make contact as well as Schlosser there together. Oh, Chad Stearns tried to put it in the middle between Gainey and Clark, make some contact with the 8, and that's what gets him sideways to begin with, and then nobody really has anywhere to go at that point. Let's take another look. Concentrate on the 05 here. As he's going to swing it into the middle here. Big stack up on the bottom. Stearns wants to continue forward. It's a great opportunity for him. Clark just misses his entry a little bit, just barely moves up the racetrack, and Stearns looks at it as an opportunity. But, man, that 3 wide. We've seen it a couple times tonight, and it has never worked yet.
No, not really.
No different there.
So that caution goes unclaimed. It just adds to the workload a little bit, as there have been a few unclaimed cautions here this evening.
And that is number 9 on the night.
So we're averaging about 1 every 10 laps.
Although we did have about, I don't know, maybe a 20-lap run, 25-lap run earlier.
Yeah, something like that. It was a pretty good start to the race.
Well, the last 50 laps, we've had quite a few.
With so many differing tire lives at this point, I don't think that until we start thinning the herd a bit that this is going to slow down any. We will see, though. John Kay, Hayden Palumbo, and Luke Peterson, the top 3. Jan Van Leer to his outside. Andy Poliski, Brian Mitchell on row number 3. As great jump for JK. Top 6, all single file, side by side. Zach Lockett, Ryan Dye behind them. Brody Gunter, the early dominator of this race, picking his way through on fresher tires. A little contact there with Zach Lockett.
Yeah, Gunter's been stacked up behind Lockett a couple times. I'm not sure Gunter is going to be very patient going forward, and in fact, he's going to move to the outside lane and will try and work his way around.
Lockett, one of those 5 drivers coming off their best career finish in the Venom Truck Series last week at Las Vegas. P6 for the 93, and that was a jinx if there ever was one. Solo spin for the 93, running in 7th, and the caution is out. Luckily, no contact from anyone else. So this 93 truck will be good to continue, but that was a locked and loaded jinx right between the eyes for Zach Lockett. Very sorry.
Yeah, I think after that one, he's going to need an Oreo-flavored Coke Zero.
It's Oreo Coca-Cola with some Jack Daniels, I think, is going to be the move.
Let's take a look. Gunter hopped to the outside here. Maybe Lockett was feeling the pressure, trying to push it just a little bit more, a little bit harder. And coming off the corner, just got into it too hard. But again, good job to keep it off the inside wall. Because the inside wall is a race ender.
I didn't realize until you took that shot down the front stretch how not straight that outside wall is. Nathan Reynolds' car inside tour had a race here. And I was in it. And that's about all I'm willing to report back. I had a lot of fun racing this track, though. I'm sure some of these drivers are having a good time. We expect a decent chunk of cautions whenever we come to a short track. But we will see if we can start to string together some green flag laps I'm sure John Kay's not minding up front, though. These are John Kay's first laps led of the season. A big fat goose egg coming into tonight. Best finish of 25th in the season opener. It's been a rough go for John Kay this season, but it is very much in its infancy. Plenty of time to turn it around. Palumbo to the outside. Peterson and Jan Van Leer, still in row 2. Andy Poliski, Brian Mitchell still in row 3. There's Brody Gunter now looming in 7th with Joshua Matacek to his outside. Back at our way. Oh, Brian Mitchell way loose there.
Oh, no!
Oh! Ay.
Oh, there's
That
a couple of different incidents there, I think.
There was one in the back, and then Matacek made contact there with Brian Mitchell as well, and that stacked him up. And that is caution number 11. They're starting to breed like rabbits here. A lot to sift through on this one. I'd get to it.
Yeah, big time. Well, let's look at the one we were looking at while we were live, and this is Mitchell, who you called it out on the live shot. He gets loose off of turn 2, which slows him way down. Shouldn't say way down. It just kind of kills the run he has, and Matacek has a run that he wants to try and take. He's going to try and put it 3 wide with Stearns and Matacek, and I don't think Mitchell was expecting Matacek to be there. Mitchell kind of turns down into that outside lane. Drivers putting each other in some tough spots here tonight. Let's take a look and we can see what else happens here. We're going to see the incident between Mitchell and Matacek further back. Man, I don't know where this starts.
I would say around Gary Clark and Tyler Berger. They're the two that are chatting the most about their damage. So those two certainly involved.
Oh, yeah, big time. Oh, I think Clark gets loose, and then he overcorrects up the racetrack right into Berger, who then gets turned down into Garrett Rainey. Rodney Matney piles in there as well. And I think Clark's called it a night. Berger has some pretty hefty damage here as well, I believe.
And Josh Freed under caution has just picked up a meatball flag, although I think he's just sitting in his pit box, so I think he may be out of this race already anyways, and just blew the motor, so he's definitely out. Back to green, and boy, they are playing bumper tag up front. Not a great start there from second on back. Kay leading. He's way up the racetrack, though. That'll put Peterson and Palumbo side by side. Hayden will try and sneak out ahead up top.
We've got a live Banana Bucks bet right here in the chat. We're going to make it official.
Oh, I don't know if we're going to make it even 2 laps here, as that was a huge checkup.
Well, Palumbo going to try and get to the inside of John. Not going to be there this time.
Hayden's got to be feeling the pressure here because Brody Gunter is starting to move forward again. This will put Gunter up to 5th as he's, or rather up to 4th if he's able to stay out ahead of Jan Van Leer around the outside. Peterson awfully loose there in 3rd.
Oh boy, it's going down.
That is a big time problem. Steve Roman with an issue in the 00, and we are back under caution here for the 12th time.
Roman cannot feel the ground with the rear of his truck for a little while there.
You have Roman loose Big time contact for a few drivers there. I think Ryan Dye and Josh Monachek, Chad Stearns all got a piece of that one.
Let me see. Roman getting loose. And Monachek's got nowhere to go. Going to get in the back of him. Stearns gets tagged there as well. Then Ryan Dye. I mean, Roman's trying to lock it down to keep himself from going down the racetrack into the wall. And Ryan Dye absolutely pounds the back of the 00. The Dye went from being in an incident to looking pretty good, in a pretty good position, and all of a sudden his race has kind of gone downhill again. Can he mount another comeback?
I'm not counting anybody out after what we saw from Brody Gunter last week, unless they are physically out of the session. And then per the Charlie Widener rule, they need to be more than 5 laps down for me to count them out. So Brian Mitchell, I think the most notable driver to come down pit road under this caution, I think still trying to repair a little bit of damage from that last accident. Of course, Tyler Berger, Ryan Dye, and Steve Roman all with damage to fix all down pit road. Still John Kay leading, but now Brody Gunter is up to 4th. At what point do these tire lives equalize? There have been a number of heat cycles on this 01's tires. At this point, how much is an advantage? How much are the tires an advantage right now for Brody Gunter, or are they at all?
Man, I'm not sure they are much at all, to be honest, but I mean, he has been pretty quick, so I mean, just from the eyeball test, you would think that there would be, but I mean, could just be Brody doing Brody things as well.
So you're saying the tires aren't the advantage, but the driver may be.
That's a good way to put it.
Back it away. Not a great start there for the 01. Jan Van Leer sticking with him there on the inside. Maybe just trying to back up this corner and looking for a big run out. There's no contest for John Kay up front currently. Gunter going to try and break away from Jan and start to challenge Luke Peterson for spot number 3. As Kay off the beaten path, and that may cost him the lead. Here's Palumbo looking for the lead.
Oh, man.
Palumbo moving Kay up.
Oh, wow. Nearly into the wall for the 2.
Palumbo's got him at the line. That's the 3rd different leader of the evening, but can he take the lead outright here, or is John Kay going to fight back on the outside? Crucially, this is going to clog things up now for Brody Gunter, who's just taken 3rd away from Luke Peterson. Nearly some contact there, and Palumbo has the lead outright.
Yeah, Palumbo got in there deep, and he kind of ran John Kay off of his line. There wasn't much the 2 could do, and now Kay a little bit out of sorts because of it. Gunter going to get through here as well.
Kay doing his best to try and hold on to 2nd here, make Gunter work for it a bit, hanging on this right rear corner panel. 3/4 clear now, fully clear. Gunter with his sights set on reclaiming the lead. Trouble. Backstretch. It's Andy Poliski.
Yeah. Oh,
And
no.
more.
Samard got turned there as well.
Pascal Samard. The long way around turn number 3, and that is the caution once more. Poliski running in 6th at the time, wondering if that was just him getting loose there. But the stack up behind trying to avoid. I think Zach Lockett was involved in that one. And Chad Stearns may have got a piece of this as well.
Here's Poliski off of 2, gets loose. Gets down into Stearns. Stearns able to keep it running straight, and then Lockett and Samard got together because they were coming up hot on Pleski, who was right there in the middle of the racetrack. Go from Pascal Simard's point of view. Can't really see the incident with all these trucks. You can barely see some smoke. He starts to back down, and then Lockett, trying to get to the outside to avoid Poliski, gets right into the back of him. I mean, Simard could barely see any smoke, but he was able to see it, started to slow down. But others behind him probably had even worse vision, I had to imagine.
I hate to say it, but I think we have yet to see the worst of what this track has to offer in terms of destruction. I mean, we are starting to beat up some trucks, that's for sure. We've got 4 drivers that are out of this race, seemingly anyway. Actually make that only 3 at this point, as William McKellar and Eric Breeding are still on the track multiple laps down. 19 drivers on the lead lap, back to Ryan Dye. Simard and Vroman 1 lap down. Bergert and Josh Jackson 2 laps down. McKellar and Breeding 9 and 17 laps down, respectively. And now the rules are reversed. It is Palumbo leading Gunter. And Palumbo got a good start there. I think Gunter got a good start, but had to check himself up not to beat Palumbo to the line. We'll see if the 01 can do anything here with the 54. Right in his sights. Okay,
Whoa.
nearly loosening up that 01.
That was almost more than a loosening up.
We did not make it 42 laps, by the way. I'll be coming to collect here after the race, Mr. Rob Williams. House always wins, especially in the Royal Rumble. Purple laps up front. Gunter tracking down the leader in 18:49. We are gold rushing here.
Yeah, the clouds are out, and the track temperature is low, so that is helping. 83 degrees is the track temperature at the moment.
Palumbo got to be feeling the pressure. Caution's out. Problems, Kevin Sargent is slow. And I think that's going to be all that's going to bring out this 14th caution. It's a bit loose there in the middle of the track. And, yeah, that one really didn't need to be a caution. I hate to say it, but when you've got 14 cautions up on the board, that one was a bit willy-nilly. That's going to shake things up, though. John Kay's going to pit from 3rd.
And Kevin, I mean, he gets loose on his own. Everybody goes high and low, and he doesn't totally spin it.
Good save, good avoidance. I think everybody's practiced up at this point. No matter who you are, you've been everywhere in the field tonight just because everybody's not come down pit road at the same time. So you've had your plenty of opportunities to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. As Brantley Gainey going to bring it down pit road. John Kay, Kevin Sargent, Ryan Dye, Steve Roman all down pit road. Kay looking for some tactical advantage here. I think everybody else just getting some damage fixed. Jan Van Leer now back up into 3rd. He's gotten past Luke Peterson here on the last restart. Chad Stearns back into the top 5. We are officially across the 1 hour mark of this race with 71 laps to go. Or 71. God, I can't do math. What is this? 69 laps to go. How did I miss that one? Colombo and Gunter getting ready to get back after it. We'll see if Gunter can time his restart a little bit better. Not really. But he's still clear in second. We'll be able to cover off Jan there on the bottom.
Three wide.
Oh, Rainey, nearly some contact. Some almost contact a lot of the way around this track, I think. Gunter, raring and ready to go. Looking high. Looking for a run down the front stretch into turn number 1. He's going to peak low. And Palumbo's going to keep the door open. Oh, but Gunter into the apron there. And around goes Chad Stearns.
No, not around.
What a save. That was impressive, and he's only going to lose a couple spots here as well. Good luck cooling the rear tires down.
Yeah, those tires are not going to like him here for quite a while. So Gunter with a bit of a mistake, and another one there. That was Holyfield. He makes a save.
Oh, boy, oh, boy. They're getting better at it. Meanwhile, John Kay on fresh tires has already busted his way all the way up to 11th. We'll have an opportunity to pass Brian Mitchell here to get back up to P10.
Boy, Matney tried to dive underneath the Stearns, and Stearns said, "Not today, sir." Dove right down in front of him. Matichek, Schlosser side by side. This is for the top 5. Matichek's got it. Take a look back. Here's John Kay starting to work on Brian Mitchell. He's on the outside of the 78.
One slow. It's Ryan Dye, and that is a caution. Once again, not 100% sure what that one was on. I think it was for Ryan Dye, and he was slow there on the bottom of the track. So that one, with some onrushing traffic, that will trigger caution number 15 here on lap 139.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty sideways right in the middle of the racetrack. Wow, everybody does a great job not to get involved, and Dye does a great job of keeping it pretty much steady right in the middle. Not shooting up, not shooting down the racetrack, letting everybody take their evasive maneuvers. This is going to bring a lot of folks down pit road.
6 out of the top 10 are down pit road this time, led by Brody Gunter. Josh Matichek, Garrett Rainey, Chad Stearns, Rodney Matney, Brian Mitchell, Ryan Dye, Austin Holyfield, Paul Sargent, and William McKellar. All down pit road here on lap 140. So somewhat of a longer run there. But now we're getting to the point of the race with inside of 60 laps to go that if there already wasn't any give and take, which most of these have just been self-spins that have ballooned into other things. But there's about to be more giving of bumpers and more taking of positions. So Gunter from second is only going to restart here in 12th. With a lot of drivers on old tires and with dinged up race vehicles. John Kay here in P5, much fresher rubber than the drivers in front of him. We'll watch for him to make some quick moves here. Palumbo and Jan Van Leer, Peterson and Schlosser on row 2.
Whoa!
Lots of bumping and banging already. Kay nearly took a swipe across the back of the 400. He's able to hold it so much lower there on corner exit, trying to find a way through on Schlosser.
Now Van Leer's gotten to the inside of Palumbo here.
First look at the lead for JVL tonight as there's trouble further back.
Oh, Gunter's involved.
Brody Gunter. I think Josh Matacek got a piece of that one as well. Caution is out. And that was one of the best saves I think I've ever seen. And again, I mean, that one could have very easily been a big wreck, but I guess in hindsight, it doesn't really need to be a caution.
Oh,
it looks
wow.
spectacular. Yeah, look at that.
Unbelievable. Gunter got stacked up behind. I believe that's Kevin Sargent, and tried to make a big dive down to the bottom, but Pascal Samard had speed. He was closing the hole. Wow, and Gunter narrowly avoids hitting Sargent on the way back up. That was just pure luck. But you're right, does a great job not to hit the outside wall. And folks behind kind of bumped into each other because of the checkup and the slowdown, but seems like everybody pretty much survived there. That will, I mean, Gunter just came down for tires the last time, and they're not going to be so nice this time. I mean, that was a big slide. The tires do not like that.
Nope, they are definitely not. That was one way to shock them into temperature there. So those tires are pretty roasted already. And Gunter right back to P12 where he restarted from. You're right, Pascal was there. I'm sure Gunter will feel the same way when he goes back and looks at that, but he probably doesn't have a clue at this point. So that settles down a battle for the lead, and that is going to put John Kay right back in the exact same spot he was just in, restarting from P5 here. Coming to 50 laps to go when we get to the stripe. Work at our 16th caution of the event. Back it away. Good start for Palumbo. Peterson with a bit of a checkup there to not pile into the back of Jan. And caution once again. As Rodney Matney, oh boy, and that is a hard shot there for Matney, Ryan Dye, and for Steve Roman. And that one, I think, might be the race ender for Steve Roman. That truck is looking worse for wear, to say the least.
Yeah, that one, we didn't see it live, and once we turned to it, it was ugly.
Watch how quickly all three of these trucks come to a complete stop.
Oh, Matney hits the apron on the bottom. That's what gets everybody bent out of shape. Dye tries to go up high, and Matney overcorrects. My goodness.
I mean, that is nearly an instant stop for all three of them. That's
Steve Roman got absolutely hip checked into the boards right there.
I mean, that is, you talk about 0 to 60. That's 90 to 0 in a second.
If they actually were on ice, like Rob Williams suggested earlier, I think some gloves would be being dropped right at the moment.
That was a high stick. So that's the second wreck on Rodney Matney here tonight. Unfortunately, he will be serving a pass-through penalty when we come back green.
This is the view from Ryan Dye. These Matney get loose in front. He's going to try and sneak up through the top.
Bonk.
Yeah. That's a big bonk, that's for sure.
All right, so we're back to it here. A restart on lap 156 with 45 to go. Still Palumbo, still Jan Van Leer, Peterson, Schlosser, and John Kay has not been able to move forward. He's losing the advantage on this set of tires. Not a good restart there from the two either, as Palumbo firmly in control of this one. Jan Van Leer, Luke Peterson side by side for second. Still watching for Brody Gunter. He's crept back into the top 10 now as Peterson will give up the second spot once again to Jan Van Leer.
Matt Schlosser is starting to look around the outside of Peterson here. And John Kay on those fresher tires starting to make his way up here as well. Matt Schlosser came down on lap 100 as well to note, so he has a bit of a tire advantage.
John has just needed some green flag laps here to find his way forward. And finally is going to pick off a spot around the outside of his teammate Luke Peterson. Palumbo up front with the purple lap. 18:43. And we've got one around. It's Kyle Zittel, and that is another caution.
Yeah, there were quite a few. Quite a few slowed there. You see Kevin Sargent down on the bottom of the racetrack as well.
Yeah, Sargent, I think, had a secondary spin. Probably got himself loose trying to get around Kyle Zittel there. And a couple more drivers coming down pit road here.
Oh, man, Kyle Zittel makes contact with, I believe that's Brian Mitchell. Gets in there with a lot of speed. Gets himself turned sideways. Some more contact with Mitchell as he slides backwards. Paul Sargent trying to get through. Man, barely sneaks in. You see Holyfield. And then you're going to see Evan Sargent down here on the bottom. Let's see what happens to him.
May have been completely separate.
Yeah, he was actually ahead of Zittel. And he gets loose on his own. Oh, he does make some pretty significant contact with the inside wall. And yeah, Chad Stearns all over his bumper, and he was trying to get that power down. And it just Tires did not hook up. How many times have we seen it? Too many.
Almost every time. Almost. So Peterson Poliski down pit road from inside the top 10. Bolting on a set of tires. We'll see what they could do here. Look for Brody Gunter now. He's up to 5th. John Kay. Fresher rubber than the 3 drivers ahead of him, and not fresher than that 01 there. That was caution number 18. We're back on our way here on lap 164. Caden Gunter going at it. Schlosser and Jan Van Leer going at it. And Schlosser is through. John Kay. Oh, he's still loose. I think he's going to collect it up there. As Jan and John are all over the joint here. Gunter now going to go underneath the reigning series champ, but nothing going yet. Josh Matacek back on the move once again. Palumbo trying to get out to as big of a lead as possible, with a lot of contenders barreling down on him, including the points leader coming into tonight. Watch it for Luke Peterson on fresh tires. He is closing in on the top 10 contenders. Matt Schlosser now
on the bottom.
John Kay. Boy, he and Jan are awfully tight there.
On board with Brody Gunter, and the caution is out.
Eric Breeding is stopped on the track, it looks like. Yeah, and he is nosed into the wall here. Tonight's race sponsor. May have had some help to get into that position.
Let's take a look. Could have been an overcorrection as well. That's an easy place to do it. Oh, he disappears there for a moment. Oh, and he definitely has help. That's Kevin Sargent getting loose. And Eric tried to squeeze through the bottom. Just not quite work out there.
Already enough a rough night for Eric. He is 18 laps down.
Eric was hoping he would have stayed disappeared for just a few moments longer.
If only.
Why does it never turn out in your benefit?
I don't know. Appreciate him coming on board here tonight. The Punisher Graphics 200 here at Kern County. In a league of great painters, Eric has had some standout paint schemes in the past, not the least of which the one that he's rocking on his truck tonight. But real ones know what the best Venom Truck Series paint scheme of all time is. Hashtag justice for the Chiquita banana. It will never die.
Oh, man.
Appreciate all the work that Eric does for his truck, the Alabama gang, and anybody else that's needed a paint scheme over the years. He's whipped up some great ones, that's for sure. We are ratcheting up here. It'll be 26 to go when we get back to the line. I think William McKellar has called it a night. May leave us with, I think, 21 or 22 drivers still out here on the track, and only 19 of them on the lead lap. Palumbo, Schlosser, Kay, Jan Van Leer, Brody Gunter, Joshua Mata. Check your top 6. 26 to go. Schlosser clears himself in front of John Kay. Kay will give him a bump for good measure. And now Jan Van Leer going to dive in underneath the 2.
Yeah, big dive there from the 5, but John has liked the top here quite a bit tonight, so not expecting him to really move off the top side here, I don't believe. Look at this. Schlosser looking for it.
Oh, tries to stab it down there. Now Gunter trying to go around the outside of Jan Van Leer to get up to 4th. And I think Gunter would rather start on the outside if the caution were to come out, so this is a crucial pass for him. Top 3, nose to tail, nearly all make contact with one another. Schlosser looking down low again.
Schlosser trying to take those shallow entries is really helping John Kay be able to kind of reel him in. Palumbo's playing defense. Schlosser's taking shallow entry. John is able to take his pretty normal line here.
And Palumbo running a half lane higher than what Schlosser had been running, although Schlosser now going to run that line with the race leader. Kay fading back by a couple truck lengths here, maybe just waiting to see how this one's going to shake out. Meanwhile, Gunter has cleared Jan Van Leer for 4th, and now Jan trying to hang on to a spot in the top 5 against Joshua Matacek as they are nearly crossed up there at a 4. Matacek around the outside, not quite clear.
Yeah, and Jan, who looked really strong. Oh, no!
That was an awkward spot there for Jan and for Matacek as they had a slow car on the top side of the track. Hard to tell if Jan kept going into the 60 or the 60 slowed down. Either way, they get bottled up, and that is going to turn the 60 truck around. That is caution number 20 with 20 to go.
I definitely think Josh was leery of that truck up top because really your normal line is running right up against the wall there.
Yeah, you have plenty of room in the turns, but that room goes away on the straightaway. That is exactly where that 60 truck wanted to be. Not too sure that wasn't Ryan Dye who was...
It was.
I mean, he's just got an insurmountable amount of damage on that truck. Just trying to make it to the finish.
So we're just going to go on board here with Josh. And you see, he's going to catch Ryan right as they're coming off the corner. And Josh is not going to go all the way up to the wall because Ryan is there. He kind of starts his line right in the middle of the racetrack. And I think Jan's just going to try and run his normal line.
Yeah,
Also,
I don't think that's anything that any of those two could do about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're on board with Jan here, and I mean, he can see Ryan up the racetrack through the turn, but he can't really see Ryan once they're coming off of the corner. That's just just a tough spot there. No doubt about it. Chatter about chocolate milk over the radio.
Yeah, I think that's because Ryan Dye's the milkman tonight.
I'll be damned if a glass of chocolate milk doesn't sound good.
I might have to run over to my local convenience store after this race. That does sound pretty good.
Caution count up in the top left. That was number 20.
15 laps to go.
Done 20 loads of laundry up to this point.
We're not done yet. Palumbo, Schlosser, Kay, and now Brody Gunter on the outside of row number 2. Watch for some big moves out of the 01 here. Back it away.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Schlosser up the track. Gunter, and now problems behind, and we are spinning. Caution. Peterson involved on the freshest tires. Also, Andy Poliski on that same strategy. Josh Jackson, Kevin Sargent, Eric Breeding, Kyle Zittel with some contact as well has eclipsed the pass-through penalty limit for incidents. And he is not alone. I believe Andy Poliski has as well.
Well, that'll make it 21 loads.
And we're not done yet.
Oh, man. So, Poliski down here on the bottom. I mean, they're all stacked up here. Kearns thinks he sees a lane on the bottom. And Kearns gets into the left rear of the 32. Puts him up into Peterson. Kyle Zittel. Man, barely squeezes through, I think, without incident, miraculously. Peterson down the racetrack. Check makes contact with him pretty significantly, I might add. I mean, that's just the end of a short track race with restarts. That's
yes,
just what it
Stearns
is.
had exactly a truck width to fit into there, and he didn't. And then that hole started to close up as he moved into it. So that'll.
By the way, I owe
happen.
apologies to some of our folks here tonight. We have some drivers running car cameras, and I haven't used them at all because we've had all the cautions. I've been trying to show replays. And, yeah, I've just kind of missed him a little bit. So here's some of those folks for you. John Kay, who's looking for a W here tonight. He's running a camera here for us. Luke Peterson, Ryan Dye as well. And so is Josh Matacek.
John Kay got clear on Matt Schlosser there on that restart after Schlosser went way up to the top side. So now it's Kay on the outside of the front row. Fresher tires than Palumbo. But Gunter fresher tires than both of them. They're in fourth. Boy, Kay did not get off the line very well. Palumbo off and running with 10 laps to go.
Kay's going to hope that he can get clear of Schlosser, but I think this is going to be a dogfight.
They both have to hope that they can stay clean and green behind him. Schlosser not letting John Kay through up top. And Palumbo is loving this.
Oh, man, a big movement. You can see it in John's camera. Had a big moment there. Almost as clear, and now he is clear track up to Hayden Palumbo.
Palumbo's got plenty of life in these tires. He just ran the purple lap of the race here on lap 193. Gunter to the outside of Schlosser. Time is running out for anybody to run down the 54 of Palumbo.
Okay, way up high on the racetrack, maybe trying to get some drive down, but I think it may have been a mistake.
6 to go. Kay is just not rolling the center right now, and Palumbo very much is.
Product of overdriving more than likely here for the two.
Much better in 3 and 4, but the damage is already done. He lost a tenth and a half on that lap alone. Now it stands at 7 tenths. Oh, and Gunter gets tagged from behind from Jan Van Leer. Caution is out. Brantley Gainey going to get a piece of that, and that is going to give Gainey a pass-through penalty instead of a top 5 position here inside of 5 laps to go. Oh, man. And that is going to change everything once again.
Well, let's take a look. Gunter, I mean, there's single file here going into the corner. Gunter's kind of entering more in the middle. Jan down there on the bottom. Gunter has been running that line kind of more between lanes 1 and 2, and then kind of exiting on the bottom, and Jan enters more on the bottom, and their lines came together there.
Do I even need to say it?
We're not done yet.
Well, that too. I was going to say that's for short track racing.
Ah, yes.
But that's not going to matter much to Brody Gunter, who wanted another back-to-back podium. Dominated the early portion of this race, much like Hayden Palumbo dominated the early portion of last week, and did not get the result to go with it. I think finished 13th last week. And now, he's potentially one overtime period away from being the second first-time winner in a row, and the second one for the Alabama gang.
Wouldn't that be something?
It sure would. And I mean, we've been waiting for a Hayden Palumbo victory now for actually a full season, even though he's only been with the Venom Truck Series for a full season. But you still got to get it done. 2 laps to go. Our first of a potential 3 overtime periods. John Kay wants to get back to victory lane. So does Matt Schlosser. So does Jan Van Leer. Back it away. I guess Brantley Gainey is going to get his black flag cleared for the pass-through limit. Not sure why. But regardless, he's looking to stay in the top 5. John Kay did not get a good restart, and Palumbo just wants to see the white flag, and he'll get it.
Wow. Kay really squeezing down Schlosser. He wants to try and have an opportunity here in turns 3 and 4, but too little, too late.
They're out of shape behind and wrecking. Checkered flag is out, and it's finally Hayden Palumbo to victory lane. Palumbo finally a winner in the Venom Truck Series. He's come close multiple times. And the Punisher Graphics 200 belongs to a driver in the Alabama Gang Super Kick family, as they're all going to meet up at the start-finish line here in Kern County. It was Luke Peterson's turn last week, and this time it's Palumbo.
And he is going to burn it to the ground.
The tail whip from Garrett Rainey. Boy, we'll have to take a look at it here in a second, but Rainey got dumped out of turn 4. He was well inside the top 10 and is going to finish, I think, 14th. Yeah, there's not a lot of room for the usual shenanigans here. They're just going to beat the crap out of each other.
That's all right. We like that too.
Yes, indeed. Well, the celebration's going to continue. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the shenanigans there on the final lap, because it was messy out of turn 4.
Yeah, this is on the final lap out of 2. Gainey has a problem.
I think Gainey may have been conceding the positions there, because he had a penalty. It got cleared, and then he just slows up anyway.
Let's take a look at this. I mean, Vodacek right here behind Lockett, kind of getting stacked up a little bit. Oh, and he makes contact with Lockett. Then Brian Mitchell down onto the apron underneath of Vodacek for a moment, and then right back up the racetrack. Takes out Garrett. And then pounds into a couple more there as well.
And Brian Mitchell lapped down as well, so that's not going to bode well with the race officials, I don't think. But that was an absolute mess after that.
Well, let's take a look at the full finishing order. What do you say?
Absolutely. We'll talk to Hayden Palumbo here in just a second. We'll talk to his teammate, John Kay, and we'll talk to your current points leader, Matt Schlosser. He has been on fire to start the season. That is another podium for driver 04. Jan Van Leer and Chad Stearns will be your top 5. Zach Lockett will match his career best finish from last week. He will finish in 6th. Joshua Vodacek into the top 10 for the first time this season in P7. How about a strong run tonight for Austin Holyfield? After it's all said and done, that is his best career short track finish in the Venom Truck Series. A nice P8 for him. Last week's winner, Luke Peterson, will finish in 9th. How about Pascal Samard, somehow, some way, is going to finish in P10 here tonight. An awesome top 10 run for the 76. Way to go for him. Josh Jackson, how about an 11th place finish for him? That is his best career Venom Truck Series finish. He was, I think, maybe 3 laps down at one point in this race, maybe more. So awesome run for Josh Jackson tonight. Brady Gunter, a great recovery to finish in 12th, but I'm sure he's not going to be very happy with that. And Garrett Rainey, likewise, not going to be very happy in P13, considering that he was in 7th when he got spun there on the final lap. Andy Poliski will finish in 14th. Paul Sargent, Kevin Sargent, the last 2 drivers on the late lap in 15th and 16th. Brantley Gainey will finish in 17th. Kyle Zittel in P18. Brian Mitchell then will finish in 19th. Ryan Dye, 2 down in 20th. Eric Breeding, 21 down in 21st. And then DNFs for William McKellar, Tyler Burgert, Rodney Matney, Steve Roman, Josh Freed, who came into tonight as the points leader, way down there in 26th. Gary Clark and Jordan Jorno, an early retiree, in 28th position. So, we'll bring in driver number 04. No doubt he is the points leader outright here tonight after already a second podium on the season. Good stuff here from Matt Schlosser. Way to go.
Hey, thanks.
Well, an interesting race here tonight. You were trying to make passes for the lead there on Palumbo at various points throughout the final stretch to the checkers there. What more did you need?
Yeah, Hayden did a great job. I mean, I think maybe if we had a long green run, I could have potentially gotten up there. I felt like I could kind of hang right behind him. And anytime you can hang on somebody's rear bumper, I mean, speaking for myself, if someone's riding my bumper, it's very hard to be consistent and do your best lap time. So I thought if I could apply some pressure for an extended stint, maybe I could get a peak. I kind of sent it to the inside a few times, but off of turn 4, the outside seemed to prevail. If you were on the bottom, you couldn't quite, at least I couldn't quite get anything going. So he did a great job. I gave it everything I had. And yeah, it was an interesting race. I was back in the pack for a while too, so I had to work my way back up, but it was good stuff in the end.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, Matt, congrats on a great run here tonight. I mean, it was a wild and crazy one. Coming into tonight, you probably figured there were going to be a lot of cautions. And how do you figure out like what your tire strategy is going to be? I mean, I know that it kind of depends on the cautions, but with this many, you kind of have your pick of the litter of when you're going to come down. I mean, how do you figure that out as it's all happening in real time?
Yeah, I don't think I really do figure it out. I think I just make like impulsive decisions about when to pit and when not to pit, and I try to think about whether it's a good time to pit or whether it's not. And sometimes I'm like, yes, this was the perfect time to pit, and it costs me. And then sometimes I impulsively pit, and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that, and then it works out. So I don't really know. I just try to make decent, common sense decisions. Sometimes I'll even be like, oh, wow, those guys pitted. I should probably pit too. Like the Ferrari F1 strategy, like, oh, other people are making pit stops. Maybe we should pit. But honestly, it's hard. Like, you don't know when the cautions are going to fall. I tried to give myself options. Like I took tires with 100 to go, and I was like, well, I could stay out the whole time, and if I needed, I could come back in, with maybe 50 to go. So I don't know. You kind of have to get lucky and kind of just go with your gut, I guess, or maybe just have a sixth sense for it. But it worked out okay for me. I don't think I had the best strategy, but it finished third, so I'll definitely take it.
I think you're a better strategist than the Ferrari crew, that's for sure. At least up to this point this season. I don't know. You've netted yourself a third, a seventh, and a third to open up the season. You'll be the points leader headed out of tonight. I mean, a pretty strong start for the 04.
Yeah, best start you could hope for. My goal is to just try to get stage points and get top tens or better whenever I can. So this obviously was a good points day, and I've managed to stay out of trouble, avoided the wrecks at Daytona. So it's always nice when you can get a good start and kind of maintain it rather than trying to climb up the table after a bad start. So it's been good so far.
Let's get some shout outs going for you.
Yeah, sure. Shout out to Turn 200. Shout out to Venom and all the league council and everybody who makes it happen. Congrats to Hayden on his win. Shout out to John K. That was some awesome racing. I think we were side by side for a total of like 50 laps, it seemed like. So that was good stuff with him. Shout out to my satellite teammates over at 939. Also, shout out to Cookie Monster, because I put a Cookie Monster sticker on my truck starting on Sunday, and I finished in the top 5 3 times. So I'm never taking the sticker off any of my cars ever again, because he seems to be good luck. So I may celebrate with a GIF in the Cookie Monster GIF channel.
There you go. Yeah. For those who didn't watch with our friends over on Green Flag TV Sunday night, Matt Schlosser, the big winner in the ASRL Xfinity Series season opener. Congrats to you with that. Congrats on the top 5 last night and a hard fought one of that at Zandvoorts. Congrats on a podium here tonight, and best of luck coming up here on Friday. Do you think you're ready for a special stage?
I hope so. I think I'm ready as a driver. I don't know if I'm ready as an admin. I'm worried the session's gonna start and it's gonna be like 2 a.m. and we're all gonna be in the dark or something. So I'm gonna have to double check my work and make sure we don't have a catastrophe on live YouTube. So all joking aside, I think we'll be good to go. So anybody out there who wants to do some jumpy trucks, send me a message. I'll get you into the server for Pro 2 Light Racing at a whole bunch of different cool tracks. So on Turn 200, of course. So yeah, let me know about that if you're interested.
All righty, partner. Thanks for the time here tonight. Congrats on the strong run, and we'll hopefully talk to you again Friday.
All right, sounds good. See ya.
Okie dokie. We will bring in the reigning series champ. Not been a strong start to the season, but a strong rebuttal from the first 2 races here tonight. John K. will finish in P2. Good to have you back up here in the booth, partner. It's been too long.
Oh, yeah, I figured I'd give you guys a break from me. I figured everybody was sick and tired of hearing from me, but, I had a flight to catch last week. I caught it earlier than I wanted to, but, I'm pretty sure that was team orders from your boy over there. So, no, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. No, it's just, it is what it is. Rough start to the season. Shit happens. We're back. Plain and simple.
it definitely happened the first 2 weeks, but like you said, you're back here tonight. I mean, you had a tire advantage there on Palumbo there at the end of the race, but it just seems like, especially with as good of restarts as Palumbo was getting, it's just hard to make a pass here.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing on the restarts, but it was 50-50. I'd either spin the tires a little bit or kind of get a doggy start. So it was like, I was taking what I could get. I'm just happy the last one was good enough to hold off Schlosser. Hayden had a lot of speed. I didn't have much for him. I kind of knew it last night in practice that I was like, we were running around and pit partying and, just kind of hanging around with everybody. And I'm like, Hayden's really fast. I can hang behind him. But after like 20, 30 laps, it wasn't very pretty for me. So I was like, not going to have race winning speed tonight. Happy to get up front and lead some laps. But, it was what it was. Just happy to do what I could with what I had tonight and finish the race strong. That was a pretty good job of hanging in there with all the cautions and staying focused throughout the race.
Quite the accusation leveled against you, Matt. What do you have to say in retort?
I probably shouldn't say what I want to while we're on air.
Oh,
it's a John K. classic. Those of you that know definitely know. But
if I really wanted to be on the quote wall, I would say I would say what I really want to say, but I'm not gonna.
Oh boy,
you can tell me afterwards.
I will. Don't worry, it's okay.
Okay. Anyways, I mean, it was a great night for you here tonight. You needed the bounce back. You got the bounce back, but I'm sure. I mean, even the fastest of drivers were not immune to incidents here tonight, either self-inflicted or not. I mean, that had to be in the back of your head that no matter how good I do for myself, I might get taken out here.
Well, it. You have to wonder sometimes what's going to happen. And we had some close calls, had some people that, pushing the brake pedal down and hanging a left. And, I said it the other day, I was feeling gracious yet again tonight. So I decided not to do what I wanted to do and give in to those dark side thoughts. But, it was, man, it was, I don't even know. I feel like every time I went to every time I pit, I was, off cycle with everybody and it just went to the back and I was like, well, let's have a little fun. Let's put on a little bit of a show and do it as smart and clean as possible. I think I took poor Paul Sargent 3 wide, which, I probably shouldn't have done. I got a lot of respect for Paul and shouldn't put him in bad spots like that, but I kind of had to go on that after I pit that second time. And then Zittel, love him to death. And Jesus, him and Ryan Newman should get on here one time and duke it out and see who the hardest to pass really is. They'll probably just be side by side for 500 laps, but managed to work my way around him, even though he was having a rough night. He was being really hard on himself. He had good pace when he got going. So other than that, that was like the 2 moments I was like, this is really stupid. Like, why the fuck are you doing this? Sorry. But I was like, why are you doing this? And it's just stupid luck sometimes. Didn't get lucky last week and was pretty stupid in race 1, so it had to balance out at some point. So just happy to get out of here. Happy nobody wrecked right in my lap like happened to a couple other guys, and ready to go to Auto Club where I'm sure I'll have an absolute blast and I definitely won't get screwed over again because Auto Club and me have quite the relationship. So yeah.
Well, who's racing next week?
Is it Jesus Christ or is it somebody that actually matters?
Close.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Some people call me the JC of Turn 200,
Oh, you're racing? You're racing? I thought Matt was racing.
No, not next week.
Shit. Well, I was gonna say if Matt's racing next week, he needs to sing the national anthem next week. It's it's a rite of passage thing.
No, he's gonna have his hands full next week already.
Okay. That's good to know. But yeah, if you guys don't already know, make sure to go follow Matt Will on TikTok. He's got some pipes, and he can sing a little bit. So we're patiently waiting for the broadcast debut, and it has to be a Venom race because I asked first.
Oh, he wouldn't do it anywhere else. Trust me.
That's good. He better not. We may have beef, but still, I got about this much respect for him. It's okay.
Wow.
We've got beef, but you're a good follow, so there you go.
Yeah. I know good content when I see it, okay?
Anybody else you want to thank here other than Matt Williamson? You could go on all night.
Well, I don't want to go on all night. There's a guy that's waiting. He's been waiting for a little bit. I think he deserves some shine. So I'll say thank you to my girlfriend. She's incredible. She's crushing grad school right now, by the way. Her professors she just finished an independent study, knocked out this beautiful, beautiful presentation, and her professors are all over it and trying to send it to a bunch of important people that I have no idea who they are, but I'm not a physical therapist, so it doesn't matter if I know who they are. So I'm super proud of her, super, super proud of her. Like I could probably talk for another half hour about how proud I am of her. She's incredible, puts up with all the BS that happens on Tuesday nights. Shout out to my mom and dad for giving birth to me. It's been a while. Hi. I think I talk to you guys more on this stream than I do on the phone. So, son of the year, it's fine. Shout out my boss, Sean Schaefer. He's not on this truck, I don't think. I'm too lazy to zoom in. Shout out everybody at Eldora. I don't know if our ticketing manager is working or watching, but thanks for putting me to work this week. It's been a blast. Shout out JB, Joyce, Blake, Todd, anybody else I'm forgetting? Ashley, my other coworker. Our GM's he's a pretty cool guy. His name's Levi Jones, non-wing sprint race car driver back in the day, 2-time champ. Yeah. I say back in the day. I don't know how long. I'm sure it wasn't that long ago, but he did race with Ricky Stenhouse, so it's not that far. 2-time champ. He's awesome. I hope he does not see this. That'd be horrible. I would actually cry probably if he brought it up. And I think I got everybody at the Big E. Shout out Couch if Couch is watching. I don't know if he's here or not tonight, but shout out my homie Couch. And shout out the whole team, man. Hayden ran a great race. Had a lot of speed. Super happy for him. Shout out Luke last week. Super proud of him. I had joked to Tommy the night before that I was like, man, I hope if Luke wins, I hope I'm wrecked out because I don't want him to beat me. And I shouldn't have said that because I would have much rather been out there celebrating with my buddy because that's what he is. He's one of my good friends, and glad I can be on here this week to congratulate him. Shout out Garrett, Kyle. I talked about him. Had a rough night, but had good pace at times. Eric, Brody, a new addition to the team. He's been awesome to work with. Other than we got to iron out pitting at Daytona, and I think Nathan doesn't do much, but I'll shout him out, I guess. And old Pawpaw's out there somewhere watching. Miss you, Paul. And then shout out you guys. You guys do fantastic work. Excited to see what the rest of this year brings, and maybe we'll talk about a little broadcasting gig. I can be your guys' Kevin Harvick, since that's the scheme I ran tonight.
Ooh.
Or Clint. I'd probably be a better Clint Boyer, but
Oh, I mean, it would be hard to be a better Clint Boyer, but
well, I'm actually funny, so
there you go.
I was gonna do another shout out, but I'm not gonna do it. If anybody listens to the Teardown, Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck talk about an Instagram page. If you know, you know. Bam. That's it.
Alrighty, partner. Thanks for the time. We'll see you at the track, sucker.
Yeah, something like that. Shout out Fetty Wap too, man. I listened to some Fetty Wap before the race. Yeah.
All right.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, babe.
He's moved. We'll swap in your race winner now as John Case just starts shouting out random rappers at this point. The man of the hour. It's finally time to talk to Hayden Palumbo as a race winner in the Venom Truck Series. How about it, partner?
Oh, man. It's like Mount Everest being lifted off your shoulders.
I can imagine. And boy, what a way to do it here tonight. It's man, it took a while for you to get up to the front of this field. You were working over Brody Gunter pretty good there for a number of laps to start this race. Finally, through some pit strategy, work your way through the field and find yourself back up front. And once you got up front, man, good luck. Nobody had anything for you.
Yeah, it was on rails. Once the track cooled off, really, to be honest with you, it really wasn't on rails. It was kind of loose in, tight off. There while the track was still warm, and then once it started cooling off, though, man, it hooked up and took off. Like I think I turned the fastest lap of the race. I don't know if it held or not, around lap 180 or so, and
I think
that was
193. It was
it one?
Ridiculously late. Like, you had that
so,
thing hooked up.
Yeah, so 193, and I pitted on like lap 66, I think. So I don't know what it was, but it worked.
I mean, a lot of starting and stopping here tonight with what I think ended up being 20 cautions. But obviously that didn't seem to hurt the tire wear all that much with you turning those fast laps late. I don't know, how did the truck feel even with all those heat cycles on that tires?
I mean, like right when it would fire off, like it would be, I mean, just like it was, like if they were brand new, probably 5-6 laps into a run, which I think that was about the longest one we had. You could kind of start to feel it wanting to get tight kind of all the way around the corner. But yeah, it was quick. And I guess it was just, I had a good line running or something. I don't know what I was doing, but it was working.
Well, Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Man, congratulations. I mean, although you haven't really been in Venom for that long, it feels like it's been such a long time coming at this point just because you've had so many great runs and it just hasn't come together quite yet. I mean, did you have a feeling tonight that it was going to come together and this was going to be the one? I mean, what was the feeling coming into the night?
Quite the opposite, actually. When I sat down in my rig, I logged into the session, got everything going, and I had the handy dandy configure controls little menu pop up, and I was like, "Uh-oh, that's weird." And I went into the Fanatec drivers and stuff and looked at it, and there was a corrupted file, so I just turn it off, turn it back on. That always works. And it just like reloaded and like hooked up fine. But then I had an issue with Discord. So I basically had no team communication at all. So I had no idea what anybody was doing as far as pitch strategy. That super kick or the Alabama gang winning. So I was kind of in the dark and on my own. Less the iRacing spotter. That was about it. That's all I had. And I was like, there's no way this pans out well when it started. But they're around, I guess, lap 100, 102, something like whatever. I passed John. I was like, we got a chance.
And even going back to last week at Las Vegas, you were the dominator of that race there. The caution catches you out, and all of a sudden that race is just completely derailed. And then back to last season as well, you've had multiple opportunities at a race win. It just doesn't go your way for one reason or another. You get to the chase, you have to miss the first race, and then you score the most points through the final 4 races and come up just a little bit short of being able to contend for the championship. I mean, with the way the first 2 weeks of this season started, I think it would have been pretty easy to fall into a sophomore slump. But like you said, big weight lifted off here with a really strong performance tonight.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, which the thing is, truthfully, like I started shotgun on the field at Daytona. I mean, that was during the record-breaking snowstorm, and I had to pick up my mom from work so that she could stay the night because they live a pretty good distance away from. So I had to pick her up. So I missed practice and qualifying, and I think I joined that session during the warm-up. But at one point of that race, I think I was running like 3rd or 4th, and then sped on pit road and ruined any chances of it, especially with it going green the whole time. And then last week was just depressing. It's the only way to put it. Like, I've never had a race won before the thing even started until last week. And, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just need more stuff to tear up for the first 30 minutes of a session and then everything work out.
Well, hopefully we don't put that to the test any more than we have to. But we got the one out of the way. And, I mean, I would imagine onward and upward. You were getting eyeballed when you got brought in straight away as an Alabama gang driver last season. I mean, you were picked to start winning races pretty early. You're coming through now with the first one, first of many, I would imagine. So congrats on the victory here tonight. The time is yours here from the top step. Anybody you want to thank, anybody you want to shout out, have at it.
Thanks for everybody that watches. I don't know who all was in the stream. I didn't have it up tonight, but Mom, Dad, I know you're watching. The wife and kids, they let me do this. So, you know, it's Tuesday nights, you know, basically bowling night for me. And then, you know, Southeastern Hydrovac, they put this paint together, and I'd argue that we got the best looking truck on the track. So thanks to them. I believe that's Alabama Gang Super Kick. I think we finished, me and John K were 1-2. I'm not sure where everybody else finished. I was trying to keep my eyes off the relative, or I wasn't looking at anything but my marks, and that was it. So, but I believe that covers it.
It's a pretty darn good looking truck, that's for sure, and it looks a lot better in victory lane. Victory number 1 and career start number 22. Hayden Palumbo is on top here tonight in Kern County, California. Congrats on the first one. Go celebrate, go party hard. We'll hopefully talk to you again next week in Auto Club.
All right, thanks, sir.
Yeah, like you said, he's not been around very long, but long awaited at the same time, because we had very high expectations for Hayden Palumbo right off the rip. He's delivered. He just hadn't found a way into victory lane. Tonight, that's changed.
Yeah, certainly has. I mean, that's the thing is, sometimes when you finally, you know, break through, you can get a string of them to come together. So, I mean, that's early in the season. Great start for the 5-4. Great start for all of Alabama gang here, with Luke getting his win last week. And, I mean, the whole team seemingly coming together at the right moments. So, hopefully they can keep the momentum going. That's what they're hoping for anyways. Man, it's a tough one here tonight. Tight confines, 22 cautions, I think it was by the end of it. Yeah. What do you got for us here, Tommy?
Oh, I'm not sure I've got anything.
Well, let's thank everybody out there that was chatting with us here tonight. Rob Williams, Brian Mitchell, who, by the way, let us know that he was on the lead lap and then actually went over the incident limit, which is why he was scored a lap down at the end of the race. Cole Maxwell was here, as well as Lisa Kelly, Paul Ellison, Logan Lester, cheering on Ryan Dye, Jeremy McKinnon. Good to see him in the chat, as well as Hunter Leach, Ty Coleman, and Bailey Marie, cheering on her husband, Josh Matacek. Thank you guys for tuning in and chatting with us here tonight. And this is not the last race of the week here.
No, it is not. We've got special stage pro truck racing, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. It's the Nevada Nationals from Wild West Motorsports Park. I don't know technically if Season 0 is canon or not, but it'll be the first broadcast race for special stage. Heard Matt Schlosser talk about it a minute ago. That is Jumpy Trucks. They've got some of the tracks that they actually run at in real life. They've got some rallycross tracks, and we've got the Bristol Dirt Oval on the schedule this season. 8 races. I guess technically 16 races across 8 nights. Friday nights from now up until the beginning of April. That is what we got for you here on Turn 200. It'll be myself and James Watson for the majority of the season. I think Matt may have to tag in by the end of the season, depending on the weather for my real-life racing obligations. But we will see about that. Regardless, excited to get special stage pro truck racing on Friday nights, starting this Friday at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern from Wild West Motorsports Park. That will lead us back around into Monday night racing, Truck 200, the penultimate race of the regular season. And oh, I got the name today, Matt. Are you ready for this? I'm going to read it. I think I get money every time that I read it out loud, so I'm going to read it out loud for the first time. It is the Chili's all-new Crispy Chicken Crispers present the Chili's Honey Chipotle Chicken Crisper Truck 200K at Myrtle Beach Speedway, powered by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on your car insurance, and Spirit Airlines, less money, more fly. That is what we got for you on Monday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time for that one. And that will lead us into Tuesday night Venom Truck Series action from Auto Club, the See You in the NT night of racing at Auto Club next Tuesday night, where, yes, indeed, I don't know if it's been announced publicly to the masses here at Turn 200, but I will be racing in the Venom Truck Series next Tuesday night for the very first time in a points-paying race. And Matt will get his turn, don't worry, later in the season, but it's my turn first, and we're going racing at my favorite track to turn laps at here outside of the super speedways, Auto Club Speedway, next Tuesday night. Excited for that one. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Thank you to everybody with the Venom Truck Series for all they do. Thank you to the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. That's all we got for you here tonight. Until we meet again from Kevin Harvick's Kern County Raceway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long again. Congrats to Hayden Palumbo on his first career Venom Truck Series victory.
This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.